I remember the exact moment that Dr. Schmidt told me that I had breast cancer. And the first thoughts that came to my mind were, I'm 37 years old. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. I have a husband who lost his mother at 52 to breast cancer. And she wasn't there to dance at our wedding. And I remember how bad that hurt. And I thought from that very moment, by God, I am going to live to dance at my son's weddings. And by God, I almost have. I had the interest in the research, and then went to see a presentation at the medical school by Dr. Judah Folkman. And his initial need to have his research funded was rejected 21 times. I left there thinking, how many lives could have been saved if his research had been funded? And at that moment, it probably was the initial seed for me to think about, how could I help research and how could I help that funding process so that a hunch didn't sit in a lab and people die of cancer.
100 Voices of Hope is an organization whose goal is to end metastatic breast cancer. It's built around raising money to fund hunches at the IU Simon Cancer Center. So our idea is to get voices to give at the $1,000 level to raise $100,000 and fund a hunch. Every year, researchers at the IU Simon Cancer Center come up with at least 3 hunches. And the great thing is that the voices, we the people who are willing to give $1,000, gather and vote for one of those 3 hunches.
So one of the hardest things in science is getting a start to an idea. Most granting organizations are really conservative. They want to see a lot of preliminary data. They need to be convinced that this is so likely to work that they're willing to fund those next steps. But how do you get that preliminary data? How do you get a new idea started and launched so it can fly? 100 Voices we think of as the place where we can dream, the place where we don't have to be afraid. $100,000 lets us do those first proof of concept studies. They let us take the first steps down a very new avenue of investigation that we just simply wouldn't be able to do without that first investment.
I think what makes it the most special is that it's a group of people who can come together, meet researchers one-on-one. They are able to feel a part of the research process. They have a say in which research project gets funded each year, and then they get to hear back year to year what the fruits of their labors and their money, what has gone to, what we've learned and what other monies have been able to be raised as a result of their meager donation.
Well, I think all of us are beneficiaries of our generation before us and what they've given. But in giving to 100 Voices, we know it's going to go to people of which we do not know and will never know. But they're going to look back and hopefully being a recipient of this and to help them in their cancer battle will in turn, their friends and their families will pay it forward. It's just a great organization to be a part of.
So 100 Voices is for the doers in our society. They realize that this is a very big problem. It's a problem outside of Indiana, but it's a problem in Indiana. Women in Indiana are dying from this disease, and they've taken on this charge to do something about it, to bring together the community, to raise the funds, to support the research that moves these ideas forward, gives the hope to these women in their communities. That's what makes 100 Voices so powerful.
I'd love my legacy to be that I made a difference and I started something that caused research to be funded differently, and that because of that, we changed and created research opportunities to allow people to live a very, very, very long time with cancer.